Starting into chapter 4, we get into the second part of the text, more of the psychological factors, as opposed to chapters 1, 2, and 3, more focusing on age factors and learning as a child, first language acquisition. Now just to get into basically just human learning and the psychology of how we learn things. And whenever we come to a situation where we have a student and we have to find out what they already know, kind of what their background is, who they are, why they're learning this language, for example, and then set our goals for what we want to do, and then figure out how we can assess at the end, whether we've really been effective. But the first type of view, a theory of learning, is more of a behavioristic model, simplistic model of just learning by repeating, getting rewards, kind of like Pavlov's dog, where we do everything in a simple way just to get a reward, get what we want. And we learn language just to get the things we need from people around us. And has a simplistic view of language. It kind of reminds me of people who go to other countries with a phrase book, and they think just by learning, where is the train station and what time does the bus leave, they think by just learning these phrases, they're going to be able to function, in the language, as though language, is that simple. But basically in language learning, it produces a model where there's a lot of repetition, doing things over and over again, not thinking as much about the meaning of the language, but just the structures and conjugating verbs and translating things, and just somehow piecing together little by little like a new language. And then there's more of a cognitive model which brings meaning into the picture, really starting to understand what people mean when they're speaking to you, and wanting to know what your opinions are, what your ideas are, so that you're expressing, when you practice the language, for example, you have real questions to discuss, real answers, really getting to know other students in the class and what they think. And when you learn new things, instead of just kind of memorizing them in an isolated way, putting everything into like Ausubel's subsumption theory, which means that whenever we have new information, we don't just randomly memorize it in a linear way, but we have a category. We have categories of ideas in our head, so that whenever we learn a new term or a new idea, we fit it into our categories. Like, for example, if we learn apple, we fit it into fruit in the category of food, so that everything that we learn fits into categories, which allows us to remember a lot more information and fit it all in kind of like the triangles that all fit together. Then to take it a step further with the constructivist theory of learning, that's when we really go beyond just cognitive learning, and we start to actually apply basically what we're learning to real situations, and how real relationships, solving problems, and are synthesizing information or analyzing things. But it's really when the ideas, or in this case the language, really gets into actual use, actual application, which, as we know, kind of like learn by doing, that we learn things and we remember things better, once we're using them and once we've done them. So it has a lot of applications to how we can learn language as well.